In this video today, I want to talk about where the unhealthy attachment to food comes from and how to beat that unhealthy attachment. Now, as a parent, I'm hyper aware of the messages that I'm sending my kids verbally, through my actions, and just environmentally. There are conversations that come up all the time with our coaching clients where they reach a point and they start to question whether or not this healthy change that they're making is healthy or unhealthy. And it's a very big problem that we're seeing collectively in social media and in society in general. And that is this insane idea that somehow eating mainly fruits and vegetables, lean meats, grains, is somehow unhealthy and you have to have a little bit of junk here and there. So to explain this a little better for you, I want to use three things that we all crave. We can crave these as a kid, we crave these as an adult, and that is belonging, significance, and safety. I'll use my story as an example to really bring this into reality. As a kid, I grew up in a very tumultuous house, tumultuous school, tumultuous life. I was thrown between houses. There were legal battles over where I would be. And at school, there was no reprieve. I was bigger for my age. I wore secondhand clothes. So this basically put a target on my back, and I was bullied throughout primary school very heavily, and to the point where I only knew two things: be bullied or bully. And I chose to be the bully in high school. So I've done things that I've not been proud of post being bullied. But more to the point, because of this tumultuous childhood, I very much craved significance, very much craved belonging, and I very much craved safety. And where I found that a lot of the time was through baking. I was given a baking book somewhere in my childhood between 8 and 12. I don't remember that period all too well. I think I've blocked it out. But having been given that, I found some level of control over what I could make and eat to go into my mouth, because you've also got to understand that in the 90s, being a single mum wasn't very there wasn't much money around, and because of that, we had big weeks and small weeks, which affected a whole host of other things in my life that I'm working through right now. But because of that, then there was all that was ever was in the cupboard, and I found a level of control outside of that because I was able to make these delicious treats with very inexpensive items: flour, sugar, eggs, butter. Okay, and that then was a drop in the water that turned into a tidal wave throughout my late teens, because I was just completely obsessed with my body and how it looked, and I did not care at all how it functioned or how it felt. I would diet, and then on the other side of that, binge, and the binging would happen when I didn't feel safe, didn't feel significant, and didn't feel like I belonged. So food was my reprieve. Food made me feel safe, made me feel significant, and made me feel like I belonged. And I just had a conversation with a client who's doing some extra study outside of what she's learning with us. And one of the things that she said was, our memories are making us fat. And I thought that was a really appropriate way to sum this up. If, as a child, you found significance, belonging, and safety in sitting on the couch, eating shit food, watching telly with the family, or if you found safety, significance, and belonging in baking or in some other kind of activity like a birthday party where you got to eat whatever you wanted, that's the trigger that causes the cascade as soon as your child grows up and realizes they've got complete the complete decision making in their life now. I remember a period of time where I was like, oh, I'm basically in control now. My mum doesn't tell me what to do every moment of the day. So I can do all these things that I wasn't allowed to do before. So there's a very fine line that we must tread as parents, and that is we can't restrict our kids too much. But we've got to teach them when the appropriate time is to treat yourself. And we need to make sure that it's not for very frivolous events or just because. They need to mean something. There needs to be some meaning behind these treats and these events. Otherwise, you get another generation of really disassociated behaviors and very self-sabotaging, almost borderline neglectful behaviors to their bodies or our bodies. If you're one of these parents that doesn't want to give their baggage to their kids, then this whole talk, this whole belonging, significance, and safety thing is a very important thing to understand. And we need to start to find other ways of creating that connection with our kids. It doesn't have to be in the kitchen baking. It doesn't have to be going to the movies eating crap. It doesn't have to be sitting on the couch watching TV. We can create significant safety and belonging in doing team-based activities outside as a family. We can do that in the kitchen, cooking healthy food. We can achieve the same level of connection that you probably had with your parents when you were a kid in a much better self-serving way. So if you want help with implementing this into your lifestyle, if you feel like you're stuck and you feel like you are out of control in your own emotional eating and you're worried for your kids and what they're seeing and what they're going to take from their childhood into their adulthood, then consider reaching out. We can have a chat and we can see how we can get you on the right path